All right, it's time for me to bring you guys full circle on what it is that I've been doing with this podcast, Behind the Manors. Today, what's going to happen is I'm going to bring you into a world of home hemo with me, and I'm going to show you the process that I go through daily. And generally, this is the basis for the entire podcast, bringing awareness to kidney failure. And in addition, I'm trying to locate a kidney for myself on 3 transplant lists that I'm on. So I want to show you guys the process, and then afterwards, I want to answer all the questions that have been asked of me and some others that you didn't know that you had. So, welcome to episode 6, season 1, season finale of Behind the Manners, the podcast. Thank you all who have been tuning in, and thank you to those who are about to tune in after this. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks.
what is behind the manners?
All right, so to talk about it, we got to go back to the very beginning. You know this, but for a lot, they don't know that Behind the Manners was a script that I'd written during the pandemic. Lots of tequila, lots of pool, just by myself, and so I put it to the side until I started working again on movies. I think around 2021, when a couple guys had come to town, a couple productions, sorry, and so I found myself on movie sets again. You know, I spent time in my past when I was traveling. I'd done stunt work, film work abroad, overseas, and found myself on a movie set in 2021 with Terrence Howard, Jeremy Piven, Little Yachty, Tyrese. It was a movie called The System, shot in the prison out in Brandon. And man, I was fortunate enough to get Terrence to read the project, and he liked it. So, fast tracking. We're trying to raise money for that project, and then I'm at my best friend's wedding in New Orleans. I think that was April of 22. And the day of his wedding, I wake up twice my original size. This is the night before when I went to bed. I come back to Jackson a couple days after that, only to find out that I'm in kidney failure, stage 4. So what happened? I get to the hospital, I collapse, everything goes black, and I wake up, project's gone, because everybody thought I was dead. They thought that was it. So everyone moved on. And man, I was like, not like this. I got too close. So I took the protagonist's journey in that script, Dave Manors, took his journey in that script, meshed it with my journey to a transplant, and created the podcast Behind the Manors. That's why the tagline is a fake podcast about a true journey.
So who then is Dave Manors, your protagonist?
It's a good question. Being completely transparent, Dave Manors is who I've always wanted to be in life. Dave Manors doesn't take any shit from anybody. He's quick-witted. He's funny. I mean, okay, some of these things I am. but just, I'm also not, I didn't discover these things until kidney failure either. Because I'm going to tell you what happens when you're going through something like this. When you're in that hospital bed, you're sweating bullets, but you're cold as ice because your body temperature is rising and dropping rapidly. You have no idea what's going on. And what happens, man, when you're there, you're by yourself, likes, friend requests, follower counts, he said, she said, none of that matters because the only thing you're concerned with is what's wrong with me, how do we fix it, and how do we get better? And so Dave Manors in the script is sort of like this curmudgeon style comedian. He's angered because he self-counseled himself, which is hilarious if you think about it. But he's just angry at the world because they sent him off. He's angry at the world because he counseled himself in the script because he wanted to do it before they came for him. They being cancel culture, whatever it is. And so he carries that on his back. And I carried that on my back a lot through life as well. Just resentment. And I don't even know where it came from. But I think there's a bit of Dave Manors in everybody. Like if you just, yeah.
So tell me about your tagline.
Fake podcast about a true journey?
Yeah.
Actually, I think I gave that away already in one of the original answers. Exactly what it is. So it's not a real podcast. I'm not trying to become famous. I'm not trying to become a content creator. I am simply a guy I got very close to my dreams of becoming a movie producer, screenwriter, and it got snatched away from me because of kidney failure. And so a fake podcast about a true journey is just sort of my comeback journey on what I was doing. And also it kind of serves as a springboard back to the movie or television series that we're successful with this. But the main focus is about spreading kidney awareness, kidney prevention, health, so that others who may be closer on the brink of going through it, I can help them maybe curtail that.
So what's the whole vibe of the podcast?
So the vibe of the podcast, I love to say it is Stevie Wonder on the grill. It looks cool as hell, but shit can go left real quick. That's the vibe. And that's how we keep it free flowing and open.
So how are you choosing your guests to come on the pod?
The guests are pretty much people I know, people I can have one-on-one conversations with, real conversations about the real issues that need to be discussed. So, like yourself, I've tried to get you on, but we can't do that. But it's just friends and associates that I've made over time who I already have these connections with. And as you've seen in some of the prior episodes, the relationship between us has been able to translate on screen to those watching. It's like, oh, you guys are such naturals. It's like, no, we just been talking shit with each other for a long time. So I finally convinced them to do it on camera.
So how are you staying motivated through this process to kind of keep that energy up?
So like I said before, I got too close. I mean, I had in my mind 2 A-list actors that I connected with. Like I said before, Terrence Howard and Jeremy Piven. I'm running lines with Jeremy Piven at lunch. I mean, who gets to do that? Ari Gold. And then Terrence Howard. I mean, come on, man. And so it's just one of those things that you got to think. The week before that, I was selling TV subscriptions. And then here I am a week later, like not even forced into doing what I love, but just happenstance because right place, right time. And so, I mean, just to taste that and to feel that energy and passion again, I couldn't let it go.
Everyone has a podcast. Why jump on this bandwagon?
Dialysis. So, like I said, that was April of 2022. There was no new music being released, no new movies. I think the industry was on strike. And so I probably had never listened to a podcast in my life, right? And so when I'm going into the clinic, which was also like just an amazingly scary new task, undertaking that I was doing in life, because I'm a germaphobe. So there's that. And then I'm in these clinics and I'm just like, I don't think they're clean and they wouldn't give you the Wi-Fi password. And so, it was like, the only thing I could do was podcast. And I'd have to download them before, because you're in that chair for 4 hours while they're administering dialysis treatment to you. And so, man, I just got into it. Joe Budden specifically. I got to give Joe Budden his props. He's the inspiration for me getting into podcasting. I got to throw that shout out. So I hope that don't go to his head, though.
How did you feel when you received your diagnosis?
You won't believe this, but they're trying to deliver what they called bad news at the time, or considered bad news. And in my mind, I was racing through like the permutations of like, wait a minute, I get 20 plus uninterrupted hours a week to create and work. Now it was a little tough, but once I locked in and like started making really use of that time, it was amazing. I mean, we put this together. We put together a number of other projects that are going to be on the way. And even the doctors, when I told them, they were like, could you say something? I was like, yeah, cool. You said I'm going to get 20 hours to work. And they were like, no. Wait, what? So there was never any pity. There was never a pity party thrown. Anybody around me, you can ask them. I just went straight to work. I didn't even let it faze me. Didn't even let it go. So,
how did the kidney failure diagnosis change your lifestyle?
Oh, I love that. So, best thing about it, I can get out of any plans. Like, I can get out of any plans because I can just say, ooh, like, you got a barbecue I don't want to attend? Ooh, my kidneys. Sorry, I'm just not feeling well. But being more serious, I've had to cut out a lot of foods. Like I told you, um, things like pizza, hamburgers, all high sodium foods. Sorry. So low sodium, low phosphorus, low potassium diet. So that means avocados, oranges, tomatoes, potatoes. God, I love French fries. And like they're all treats now, right? Pizzas, because you got to limit dairy, the tomato sauce, hamburgers too high in sodium. You just got to limit everything. And it's just one of those like, thank you. So you thought I was drinking, didn't you?
Yeah.
Shout out to Martinelli's, baby. Best apple juice on the planet. But yeah, that's it. Pretty much. Just you really have to watch what you eat. So it's a lot of grilled vegetables, grilled chicken, lean meats. No deli meats. It's been a while. I haven't had any sandwiches, anything like that. That's funny. You should have seen your face when he put that apple juice there. He was like, because you were wondering that whole time. It's like, is he really drinking bourbon doing this interview? And so, yeah, I might have had one off camera. That's a lie.
That 20 hours was at the clinics. What was it like going into the clinics?
So it's with anything, it's the unknown, it's the fear. And so what happens is you go in here, and I'm not downing anyone, but a lot of the people in the clinics have given up hope. What I would, or just the sense that I got, energy I would feel, a lot of people were okay with just, I have kidney failure, I'm mad at the world, and I'm going to take it out on everyone else. And I just couldn't be around that kind of energy. And so that's when I trained. Someone had given me the information about training to do it at home, and that's what I undertook.
So why did you wait until the end of the season to tell people what you're doing?
I wanted to make sure that I could handle the hate. I wanted to make sure that the negative comments and the talk and the no support from like within my network. I mean, of course I had support within the network, but I wanted to make sure that I was mentally strong enough to do this without the sympathy from the world. Because if you can take on an undertaking, because you know everyone's going to talk about you, everyone's going to make fun of you. Oh, look at him trying to be famous. And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to get up the list for transplant faster. And so because of my blood type, I'm O positive. So it's a 5-year average wait on the transplant list. And I figured if I could create a platform for myself in which I could gain a number of viewers, I could push myself up that list faster.
What about your biggest regret regarding kidney failure?
I have no regrets. Kidney failure, and it's going to sound crazy, but kidney failure to me saved my life. I'm going to be straight up honest about something. I was an absolute fuckboy on the path to nowhere before kidney failure. Didn't have a plan. I loved just talking about what I was going to do. I didn't have a plan. I was just winging it every day. And what this did, it gave me a supreme focus. It gave me I just got lasered on everything what I wanted to do. Because what happens is this. You realize that you are mortal. That's what happens. And so we walk around every day and we're not thinking about death at all. None of us are. But what this does is it forces you to look death in the face, accept it, and then say to yourself, all right, the time that I have left, not little, we're going to speak more time into existence, but you say to yourself, I'm going to make the most and I'm going to do something and leave my mark on it. And if my mark is making people laugh or be inspired and also prevent someone else from doing this, then I've done my job.
Now, why didn't you do what a lot of other people do, and that's start a GoFundMe campaign?
Because GoFundMes are for single mothers who get burned out of their house with 4 kids. Period. I think if you're gonna do something like that, a GoFundMe, Kickstarter. I'm sorry if I aged myself by saying Kickstarter. I don't know if they're still in there, but soliciting funds, begging for money. I feel like you should give something back if you're going to ask people of something, because everyone's out here struggling. Everyone has problems. Everyone has bills. Everyone is dealing with inflation, and I feel like if I'm going to ask you to donate and help me in this journey, then I should give you something in return.
How can people be tested for organ donation?
So it's great. I'm glad you asked that question. Right now, I'm on the list at University Medical Center here in Mississippi, UAB at Birmingham, and UAB has this pair match program where, say, for instance, you wanted to donate a kidney to me, but you didn't match. If you were willing, they would put you into the system. And then if a match came up for you, if someone else who matched with you, if they had someone that matched with me, we would do a cross transplant deal. Medicare covers the cost. Also, we'll put a link up on this too for those that want to follow. So look at the QR code. It'll be up shortly after this, I hope.
So people who listen and watch, how can they support you in this journey?
If you can't donate monetarily, and so, tell a friend, subscribe to the page, subscribe to the channel, repost if you see me doing anything. I'm doing better at skin regimen and everything, so you'll be okay to repost me. I look good in some light, hopefully this light. And if you can donate monetarily, that's so appreciated, because it helps me to not only continue production of this podcast, but it helps with medical costs, the travel costs associated with going back and forth to clinics, prescription costs. Also, the cost that will be associated with after transplant is going to be a supreme undertaking too, because UAB, for instance, requires you to stay within a 50-mile radius after your transplant for 3 weeks. And then there'll be constant travel back and forth for that first 6 months to a year. And so that's a lot of gas, a lot of hotel rooms. I can't wait to have like ice cream again. So I had a burger and fries this weekend though, so I cheated. It was good.
All right, where can people listen or watch?
Right now, we're currently on Apple, Spotify, Behind the Manors, Manors. Also YouTube, Behind the Manors TV. You got to please put the TV. That's how you can find it. And we also clip up on social media. We're Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I think that's it. I don't know. This is as much as I can do right now.
Final thoughts. What are your thoughts on the attempted assassination of Donald Trump?
I'm just glad the shooter wasn't black.